Hi, Dr. Gaytri. Thank you so much for being with us today to talk about this wonderful world of Ayurveda. And I am so curious to know about everything. I only know the very basics, and I believe our public maybe also just knows the very basics of Ayurveda. So thank you for being with us and helping us understand everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on this show. Thank you.
So let's start with the concept of Ayurveda, and also, what does this word mean?
Okay. So the word Ayurveda is made of two small words, Ayur and Veda. So Ayu means life and Veda means the scripture of knowledge, right? So Ayurveda is the science of life. Now, life further, according to the Vedas, has 4 dimensions. Okay, so the 4 dimensions of life are the physical body that you see, your eyes, your systems, your organs that we are all the time worried about, right? Physical body, sensorial body, that means your sense organs, right? Which are a bit ahead. Then comes the mind, and then the consciousness or the soul. So Ayurveda believes that life is a combination of these 4 entities. It's a 4-dimensional entity, and Ayurveda talks about taking care of all these 4 entities in together. So not just the physical body, remember, it talks about all the dimensions of life, taking care of it, keeping it healthy, keeping it in balance so that the disease should not come. And even if the disease comes, disorder is there, then you should be knowing how to know yourself, how to correct that by natural measures, by being in rhythm with the nature to correct the balance and bring it back to harmony. So this is the ancient most wisdom of health, which is recorded. So it's beautiful. I'm really blessed to be a follower and a giver of Ayurvedic wisdom. Thank you.
And also, I was wondering about its origins. It has roots on India, something that goes to as far as like 5,000 years in history, right?
Yeah. So let me tell you, actually the science of life is the oldest, right? And Ayurveda, as we know, we study the history, we come to know that the evidence of Ayurveda, because everybody wants evidence, right? So the evidence of Ayurveda was first found in 2500 BC in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, when they dig those buildings, and they found the cravings, the written documents on the walls, on the bricks about health codes. And that was the first evidence that Ayurveda existed at that time. Later on, the written scriptures, right? The Vedas, the ancient most knowledge scriptures on the earth, the Vedas, they have the evidence of Ayurveda, out of which the Atharva Veda has the strongest evidence of Ayurveda. It talks so much about health and disease and how to correct it, which stands around 10,000 years ago, actually. And then later on, other samhitas and other books and our ancient scriptures were found out, which was around 5,000 years ago, which goes hand in hand with the Buddhist era. So this how old it is, and it's time tested. For so many years, people have been following it, practicing it. So it's a time-tested and experience-based science.
Well, that's so interesting, and it's very interesting that it survives until today.
Yeah.
And it's very good to see how it's growing actually in our societies. Also, so when we speak of Ayurveda, we speak of 3 kinds of energies, if I can say, or 3 types of bodies. And I read about the Vata, the Pita, and the Kapha, if I am pronouncing right.
Oh, that's so nice. You know that much.
Right? So,
Okay.
What does it mean, these 3 energies, and how can we identify them?
Sure. So it's a very good question. It's very basic, and everybody should come to know how we understand these. Before we understand these 3 doshas, you should know that there are 5 basic elements of life, right? So we are all made of those 5 elements, and they are space, air, fire, water, and earth. So we are all, whether it's a non-living thing or a living thing, you, an orange, an apple, or a leaf of a tree, or your studio camera, everything is made of 5 elements. The only difference between non-living and living things is that the non-living things don't have the mind and the soul, so they don't have the life, but the elemental composition is the same. Now, out of these 5 elements, 3 are more active. Like physiologically, when it comes to functional system, so the air and the space, they combine, and the air dominates in its function, and it represents itself in the body as Vata. Okay, so Vata is derived from air and space. So whatever is the quality of air, imagine the qualities of air and space, they will be reflected in the Vata. Similarly, fire and water, when they combine, they form Pita. And at the end, when earth and water, the heaviest of all, when they combine, they form Kapha. Now these are the fundamental bioenergies, or they are the humors which govern your psychology, your physiology, your biology, your neuroendocrine system, your pathology even. So everything is understood in the language of these 3 doshas in Ayurveda.
Are you also on social media?
Yes, we are there on Facebook and on Instagram as well. With the Gayatri Ayurveda Facebook page, you will find us. So we are there. We are coming on television, on Punjabi television, hosting health talk shows and educating people. That's our passion.
Perfect.
Back home in India, we were professors teaching the budding doctors of Ayurveda. So now almost 20 years of experience teaching and healing people and community with Ayurveda, and which is so satisfying and so good.
And I believe that's a beautiful journey to help others live their better selves. That's fantastic and very inspiring. Thank you so much, Dr. Gaytri, for open the doors for this amazing world of Ayurveda. And I wish you the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.